Now, food delivery platforms Zomato and Swiggy have once again hiked platform fees to 6 rupees per order from an earlier 5 rupees, a 20% increase. Now, currently, that's being charged in Delhi and Bengaluru. The platform fee is different from delivery fee, goods and services tax, restaurant charges and handling charges. The higher platform fee will roll out to other cities as well. The platform fee goes to the food aggregators to apparently control costs and increase revenues. The food delivery platforms aim to generate around 1.25 to 1.5 crore per day by levying the platform fee on their consumers. So this is, of course, a latest development which has taken place as far as the food delivery apps are concerned, and we are opening our call-in lines. We want to hear from you, our viewers, as to what you have to say about this, on whether or not you feel that for apps, for food delivery apps, a platform fee like this, a platform fee hike like this, a 20% hike at one go, is that justified? So that is the question that we are asking. You can call us. There the numbers are splashing across your screen on this development, and you can call us and share your views. We will also, of course, be going across to Sachin Taparia, founder of Local Circles, who has done a lot of surveys and has in fact delved into consumer rights. So he will also be talking about this issue with us. In fact, there's one particular survey by Local Circles which we will talk about, but our phone lines are open now for our viewers who want to call in and share their view about this platform fee hike by food delivery apps. But for the moment, let me go across to Sachin Taparia. Sachin, let me talk about the survey that Local Circles has in fact done, where you have found out through an all India survey that food delivery, 68% of app users, food delivery app users, have experienced hidden charges, and 69% say that the actual delivery time is always higher than the stated delivery time. So a lot of consumers, do you get that sense from this survey that a lot of consumers feel that they are not getting the bang for their buck, and these kind of hikes from time and again, they feel that they are not getting the kind of service that they were hoping to?
Yeah, absolutely, Tanima. I think what's happening here is lack of transparency. I think that's the key issue, and that is what our survey on dark patterns on food aggregators has brought out. Which is, by the way, now legislation after November 30th, 2023. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs and the CCPA have passed a new legislation where any such charges like, what you call as hidden charges, or practices like bait and switch, where you show a particular delivery time of, let's say, 25 minutes just to attract the consumer or get them to order, but then the actual delivery time is much longer. So that's called or classified as a bait and switch practice. Similarly, there is basket sneaking, where a membership or a premium gold one subscription is added to your cart automatically. So these are all dark practices or dark patterns that the government is saying are no longer permissible, and all platforms must comply already to these practices. So now, coming to hidden charges, that has been a huge issue, where a common complaint from a consumer is that when we browse the menu on these apps, we see it's about 150 rupees, but by the time we place the order, it is 300 rupees. So almost double in some cases. And I think the simple ask there is, when a product is shown to a consumer, you already know their address, you already know, their ordering patterns, everything. Why would you not show them the actual total price right up front, rather than adding all these charges later? Because I think the kind of decisions that people would make would be different if something like that is done. But at the end of the day,
Right.
it'll be a more trusted, transparent transaction. And that is what people are looking for and asking for. So I think charges, a delivery fee getting added is fine, because these platforms are a business, they add convenience, but just be super transparent in whatever you're doing.
Right. In fact, a lot of people may not even be aware that there is such a charge being levied on them because it's a very minuscule charge to begin with, maybe a 1 or 2 rupee hike. I believe I have a caller, Satish from Bengaluru, who is joining our conversation. Satish, yes, please go ahead with your view.
Yeah, I have a slightly, a different issue in the sense that what I've observed is the menu on Swiggy or Zomato, I use mainly Swiggy, is usually double than what is in the restaurant. In many cases, it's all double. I've actually gone to a restaurant in Bangalore, had my breakfast, a plate of idli, 2 idlis cost 50. The same 2 idlis cost 100 rupees on Swiggy, and then they give you a discount of, you order so much above 199 or whatever, they give you a discount. I actually wrote to Swiggy about a couple of years back on this and said, how can you do this? They claim that, look, we are getting the menus from the restaurant and we are, based on that, we are displaying the menus. But I don't know if this is allowed, is this legal? Can the restaurant, if they're charging double, if you're ordering on Swiggy, they're not telling us that, right? So that's transparency, as the gentleman was saying, is definitely not there. So this. I think it's a far bigger charge. We are talking about 5 rupees, 6 rupees, which is when Swiggy collects it, they get gross. But what about this? Double charges from the restaurant menu.
Yes. So this is once again, Satish from Bengaluru. Thank you so much for calling us. And he's also talking about the hidden costs there that Sachin Taparia's surveys also found out. I'm also joined by Mr. Sunil Kohli from Delhi, who is joining us. Yes, Mr. Kohli, go ahead and share your views with us.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. So what I thought was this 20% hike is not justified because you see the people's salaries are not increasing in that proportion. So naturally, the hike should be reasonable, considering that most of the middle class people get this, and they are, so it should be considered for slightly downgrade trend. Yeah.
Right. So Sunil Kohli there saying that this price hike is not justified. Sachin Taparia, you heard them. For a layman, when they are being told that this is a cost that we are taking or a price that we are taking in order to maintain our app, what does that even mean? Do we actually know how much an app developer would need to maintain their app? And does that entail taking 1 rupee charge from each consumer and eventually bulking up an amount like 1.5 crore? That's a lot of money. So, are the app, maybe there should be better communication if there's an actual necessity of charging such a fee.
Absolutely, Tanima. I think what the gentleman from Bangalore, Satish, mentioned is dead on. A lot of restaurants have two menus. One is the menu when you go into the restaurant where a product will cost, let's say, 100 rupees or a dish would cost 100 rupees. That same dish could be displayed at 200 rupees online. And most consumers, when they go on these apps, do not know this, and they basically add to their cart and they check out. And this is again another area of transparency where if such a practice is being deployed, where a product is 100 offline and 200 online, then it's the responsibility of the platform to display that offline restaurant prices could be different. So the consumer
Hold
is
that
making
thought,
an
Mr.
informed
Taparia.
choice.
Hold that thought. I'm also joined by Mr. Ramchandran from Bengaluru. Yes, Mr. Ramchandran, go ahead.
First thing, I am in agreement with this gentleman who just called before about the pricing.
Right.
Hello. And number two, if at all they have to raise the, fees, it's around 6 rupees, they say. That should be shared with the 80-20, it should be. 80% should be shared with this delivery personnel.
Okay, so the delivery personnel should also be paid better. That's also another aspect that one of our callers is touching upon. Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ramchandran, for calling us. So, Sachin, you see that our callers are actually bringing forth a number of issues, essentially saying that in order for the service to be better, there has to be an overall development. It's not just about the app, but maybe even the service personnel involved need to be paid better, and that will eventually lead to the service coming to the consumer, coming across as much better than and up to the mark that people are expecting. So yes, we were talking about better communications from the app developer side, from the app owner side, to really explain to the consumers why they are, why they are actually enforcing such a fee hike, because otherwise it comes across to most people as another hidden cost.
Absolutely, and I think that is where on every step, I think the platform, operators, both Swiggy and Zomato, need to kind of go back to the drawing board and say, look, what all areas in the app do we have where we are not proactively communicating to the consumer these different hidden charges, and make them more transparent. I think if that is done, it becomes a much more trusted transaction with the consumer, and it will help with long-term consumer retention. Short term, you may see a little bit of a bump, because now that plate of idli, basically the consumer knows that the price at the restaurant versus the price on the app is different, right? But I think in the long run, it will lead to increased trust. Consumer will know what they are ordering, how much they are going to be paying upfront,
Right,
rather than on the last step, where when they've already planned the meal or the entire order, and then they come to know that there is another 150 or 200 rupees that they've ought to pay for this transaction. So I think that's something that they've got to keep in mind. The other aspect is, which you referred to, the cost of the developer and all of that. See, I mean, most of these apps now, both of them actually have a program, which is their gold program, or their Swiggy One program in the case of Swiggy, where you are charging a membership fee to the consumer. So many of them are already paying this membership fee essentially, which should cover the costs for app developers and maintaining the app and other technical costs. So I think having a charge, it's their economics, they've got to figure it out.
right.
But to basically add it suddenly without transparency
Right.
is the issue that they've got to solve.
Let's also listen into some voices that we are getting from the ground on this issue.
Often do you order in from Zomato and Swiggy in a week?
My name's Priyal, and I do often order quite a lot, maybe 4 times a week or so.
Right. So Zomato and Swiggy, both of these food ordering platforms have increased their platform fees by 20%. How does this as a consumer affect your ordering in?
It is very inconvenient, and then I have to think twice before ordering anything, and then now I prefer to eat in, because I don't like ordering so much because of the money that they're taking. Well, it was quite less, now they've increased, and that's for a common man obviously, or for a student like me, it's not very feasible to order every time when I want to. So it is, I mean, chaotic.
Zomato and Swiggy have increased their platform fees. How does this affect your consumer patterns?
Yeah, for a middle class person, I would say, like, if, for example, if you are spending 100 rupees and 20 rupees you have to pay to just platform fee or something. So indeed it would be a great surge in price, and I would not be going to Zomato or Swiggy in that pattern, and instead I would be going directly to restaurant and getting the food for myself, or would be calling the restaurant directly, and if they could parcel me instead of paying something to Zomato or Swiggy.
ये जो Zomato Swiggy ने अपना प्लेटफॉर्म चार्ज 20% से बढ़ा दिया है, इसके बाद आपके कंज्यूमर पैटर्न पर और ऑर्डरिंग पैटर्न पर कितना प्रभाव पड़ेगा?
वैसे तो पहले ही उसका डिलीवरी चार्ज ऑलरेडी ज़्यादा ही था, क्योंकि वो डिलीवरी चार्ज और हैंडलिंग चार्ज यदि हम लोग ऑफलाइन में जाते हैं तो उसके प्राइसिंग अलग होते हैं और ऑनलाइन में प्राइसिंग ज़्यादा अलग होते हैं, तो डिफरेंस तो पहले वही था, और अब हैंडलिंग चार्ज और बढ़ा दिया, तो वैसे ही वो एक तो डिलीवरी चार्ज ज़्यादा है, सेकेंड की जो सप्लाई साइड से जो कमीशन है वो ज़्यादा है, और थर्ड अब यदि हैंडलिंग चार्ज और बढ़ेगा तो वैसे भी ऑर्डरिंग कम होगी, क्योंकि मैं इसीलिए बहुत फ्रिक्वेंटली ऑर्डर तो नहीं करता हूँ, बहुत रेयर ऑर्डर करता हूँ, क्योंकि ऑफलाइन में उतना ईजीली मिल जाता है, अवेलेबल है। और दूसरा है कन्वीनियंट, यदि ये मैं कहीं से ट्रैवल करके भी जा रहा हूँ तो वो मेरे को और ज़्यादा चीपेस्ट पड़ जाता है, तो मैं बहुत ही रेयर ऑर्डर करता हूँ इसमें।
Those are some voices we got you from the national capital, but I also have some callers on the line. Robin from Pune is calling in. Yes, Robin, please go ahead. All right, we will try and reconnect with Robin. Meanwhile, I believe I also have Hadish from Bengaluru on the line. Yes, Hadish, please share your view.
Yeah, Purnima, Hadish here. So what the guest on your show was saying, it's absolutely right. I mean, the prices of the items, what we see on the restaurant menus is lesser than the prices what we see on the menu of the app, irrespective of whether it is Zomato or this thing, Swiggy. This is one major concern. I have already, discussed with many of the restaurants nearby my place, and I've asked them why is this such a huge difference between your prices on your menus and on the online menus. So they don't give any proper response to that. Some say, no, sir, we do packaging also, so we add that packaging charges and blah, blah, something like that. But there is no clarity on that. There is no transparency on that. And second thing, what I'd like to point, one more thing is like, the prices of the items on the app differ not only based on the restaurant, but it also depends based on the timing, what time you are ordering. For example, if I order some item,
right,
on an app during the daytime, early morning, say if I order some tea, so it will cost you around 100 rupees, 200 rupees like that. But the same tea, if I order, maybe sometime in the afternoon, it will cost less.
Right.
And there is no justification for this. And
right,
I really don't understand, how does this business model work? It's really, very bizarre. Why
right,
there is such huge difference?
So the system is very opaque. There's not much transparency. That is what Hadish from Bengaluru is sharing with us. Thank you, Hadish, for your call. I also have Robin from Pune back with us. Yes, Robin, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I also want to highlight the fact that the quality of the food that is being delivered, what they are doing is that they are charging twice the money than the values that you see in a hotel. And then the food quality that is delivered is usually not fresh food. It is prepared from a day earlier. So they just pack early prepared food and send it to you. So this happens especially so in the mornings, where the delivery charges will be higher,
right,
and the timings will be lower, but the delivery charges will be higher. And then they will send you food that was prepared a day earlier. And I have been to a hotel where a man just told me that this is how they operate. They have a separate, a kitchen for preparation of food for delivery on the app versus what you get when you actually visit or frequent a hotel. And
right,
the quality of the food, that's why when you visit a hotel, you will find it fresh food being served to you versus actually food that was being used earlier, whatever is left overnight, they just pack it and send it the next day. In fact, I also have experience of having ordered pizza from a very reputed chain that was recently added to a delivery app provider.
okay,
And I placed the order and I get a call from the place saying that, can you cancel the order? I said, why? I can't come and deliver to your place.
okay,
So they have these things also going on. The amount is refunded to you, but the inconvenience and those things, they keep added. And like I said, the quality of the food for the amount that is being asked is not justifiable, and they take twice as much amount to sometimes deliver food that was prepared a day earlier.
right. Robin from Pune, thank you so much for sharing your views. So maybe some of this feedback, I hope people connected to these food delivery apps are listening in, because this is direct feedback from their customers. Rajesh from Delhi is also on the phone line. Yes, Rajesh, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening. And the delivery charges are already on the higher side. And with this hike, how do they justify? What is the quantum they are already earning from the existing charges? And how do they justify this hike? It is totally ununderstandable.
Sir, they are saying it is in order to maintain the app, to develop the app. Do you think that is a valid answer from their side?
They are already charging the membership fees and other things. I don't know where all that goes.
So for the common man there, for the general customers, Rajesh, thank you so much for your call and your views. Yes, so for the common man there and all the people that we spoke to, they don't feel that it is justified that this sort of a hike takes place, Sachin Taparia. But, one basic question that I want to ask, for the Aam Aadmi, whenever they see such a thing happening, they look at it as another sign of, let's say, inflation or price hike. But can we really compare rise in milk prices to an app development fee?
No, we can't here, Nanima. I think the issue again goes back to making things more transparent so the consumer knows what they are buying and what they are paying for, essentially. And we discussed, the hidden charges aspect. The caller before last talked about the fact that, the food is not fresh. That's another area where transparency could be brought in, basically, by disclosing, just like we have best before date on packaged products, they could start putting some kind of date, or some kind of timestamp on products that are fresh products as well, saying that, this is being made fresh, or, this product is from this morning. Right. So again, giving more information to the consumer so there are no negative surprises later, basically. So I think that's the need of the hour, is for these apps to become a bit more transparent than what they are.
Right.
Charges, economics, I think, is something that, again, is driven by market forces. Now, tomorrow, if an ONDC, which is a Government of India app, takes off, it's already doing a lot of transactions, through the restaurants. If it takes off, I think these platforms will have to bring their charges down. They won't be able to justify and stay in business, with those kind of charges.
Right. Hold your thought. I'm also joined by Mr. Ranjit Anand from Noida. Yes, Mr. Anand, go ahead and share your views with us.
Actually, yesterday I wanted to share my point of view also. Now, yesterday I wanted to order a pizza, so I used Zomato to order pizza. There were two things which really struck me. One is that generally I pay by cash, that is cash on delivery. So I ordered and I was surprised to find that because the bill was more than 350 rupees, so the message said that you cannot pay by COD method. So then I found out that, okay, I should download an app. I downloaded the Domino's app because through Domino I was ordering pizza. Now, to my surprise again, I realized the bill which I paid to Domino's, finally I ordered through Domino's, through their app, which was almost 50 to 60 rupees less than what Zomato was showing me as total charge. So eventually I ended up paying less, and at the same time I paid cash on delivery.
All right. Ranjit,
so
thank you.
Definitely there is something going on.
Right. That's his personal experience there, like the money that food delivery app was charging was significantly higher than directly ordering from the company. Dinesh Jadeja from Vadodara also on the line. Yes, Dinesh, go ahead and share your views with us.
Yes, ma'am. I had once ordered from platform of Swiggy. The food was delivered was a very substandard, and in that also they were not giving the proper detail of the food, and somehow I was very disappointed. So I think that platform should focus on the quality of the food, because they are charging so high and they are not up to the mark, to the standard which they are claiming to.
Right. Yes.
So because of that, somehow the food they deliver and go, and after having the food, we are very disappointed, and this can cause to health issues also. And this should be taken care. And there is no any testing of this food which they are delivering. There is no any certification or anything on the platform also.
So, considering this kind of a service is, consumers will question any sort of a fee hike.
Yes.
Dinesh Jadeja, thank you so much for joining us with your views. I'm also joined by a caller from Delhi, Ravi Sethi. Yes, Ravi, what do you think about the question we are asking today?
Yeah, actually, platform fees and delivery charges are very transparent. So whether they hike it, it's okay. We can do that. But what we need to be more concerned about is whether are they charging more than what they're charging at the restaurant, because that is something very non-transparent thing. If you end up buying a burger in McDonald's, which is for like 50 rupees, and Zomato app or Swiggy app, they end up selling it for 80 rupees. So that is something which you need to be concerned about. rather than being more concerned about platform fees or delivery charges, because these are something which they are highlighting beforehand that you are going to pay. So that, I think we should focus on whether they are hiking the menu charges or not. That is very opaque.
Right. A valid point from Ravi Sethi there in Delhi. Thank you so much for calling us here on NDTV. A lot of consumers there sharing their views and their experiences of these apps, and hopefully somebody is listening there and taking the feedback. Sachin Taparia, founder of Local Circles, thank you so much for joining us on the show on this important focus story that we were looking at. On that note, we'll slip into a short break. News and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned.